will take. And hit. Brother. Off the dribble, he hits another! Nik Stauskas with the heat check.
How's it going?
It's going good.
Good, man.
Appreciate you meeting with me, man.
No worries, man.
I'm a huge fan.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much. I'm excited about the podcast we're about to do.
Yeah, no, I'm
It's
excited.
gonna be a lot of fun.
It'll be good.
So tell me about yourself. I mean, I know the Michigan part. I know your game. Like, I know that.
Yeah, born and raised in Toronto. When I was 15 years old, I kind of like got to a point where, like, I was killing high school basketball in Canada.
Yeah.
But at that point, Canada wasn't like really known for its basketball.
Sure.
So I kind of took matters in my own hands and like decided I wanted to move to the U.S. by myself. And just started going to prep school there to get noticed by like college coaches or whatever. So when I was 15, I left home, like left my parents, and just kind of.
They were okay with that?
My mom like definitely
struggled.
She was like didn't want me to go because I wasn't ready to go, but I just knew I was like I want to play in the NBA. Like I know this is what I need to do. And ended up working out. Like I got a lot of scholarships. Ended up going to Michigan, and then I did 2 years there. Got drafted, and now it's my 4th year in the league. Now I'm playing for the Nets now. So. Man, it's been a crazy journey so far, and like it's all gone so fast. Like it feels like just yesterday I left home and I started going to prep school in the U.S. and now I'm 24 and in my 4th year in the league.
Like a vet.
Crazy,
like,
right?
Yeah.
I like that's the thing. I feel like I just got drafted and now I'm like about to hit my 2nd contract and all this different kind of stuff. Like it's crazy how fast time flies. So
It's cool, man.
Yeah.
How'd you first get into my stuff? How long have you known about my content?
Maybe about like a year and a half or so. I had, when I was in Philly, my roommate at the time was like really into all your stuff. And oftentimes, like whenever he was into something, he would just send it my way. Like he would always like forward me kind of like your Instagram stuff or whatever. And so like he sent me a couple of like pretty dope quotes that you had. And I was like, I gotta check this guy out. And then ever since then, I've just been like, all your YouTube videos and stuff like that, I've just kind of been on those ones.
Thank you, man.
Ever since I was a kid, like I've always been huge on like
Mindset.
Just on like motivational quotes and like inspirational stuff, like all that kind of stuff. Like I've like ever since I was 10, like I always like read those like Michael Jordan quotes of like I missed 9,000.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you know those ones?
Yeah.
So just like it's cool for me to be able to actually sit down and talk with you because like this is something that like really interests me. And just like the mind, like on my Instagram, like my thing under my I don't know, whatever you call it, under your name, it says when you master your mind, you master your life. Like
100%.
I've always believed that.
I believe
and it's
that
something that
too.
interests me, but like it's so much easier said than done.
100%, because you have so many variables that you weren't in control of.
Yeah.
DNA, who your parents were,
Yeah.
where you grew up.
Yeah.
But then you get to a point where you have more control than you think. Too many people think that it's over, but it's actually about who you surround yourself with and what you consume.
Yeah. That's true.
Like the end. And we take it, it's funny, like people realize that if you listen to a bunch of hip hop music and this, that, and the other thing, and live the culture, you can have swag, but people don't realize that you can do the same thing around being a winner.
Yeah.
Just surround yourself with winners and just get optimistic instead of pessimistic. Like it seems so simple. You know what it is? It's actually no different than what you did. Like you took a lot of fucking shots, man. Like when you were 12 years old, you shot a lot of basketballs.
Yeah.
And like that mattered.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you were gifted with the ability, but the amount of people that were gifted with the ability is actually scary high. It's the next part that matters.
Yeah.
And so to me, it's reps.
Yeah.
Like to me, like being an entrepreneur, like my mindset was reps. It's just always where I was. And by 42, I'm like just in it now,
Yeah.
And then the world changes. You never know. I mean, I was 34 years old before I ever made a piece of content for the internet. Like I never, you know what I mean? Like it just never was like how I saw it playing out.
Yeah.
And now like it got even crazier because entrepreneurs got popular.
Yeah.
Like having athletes and rappers hit me up is just the funniest shit.
It's funny to you?
Amazingly funny. I love it, right? Like, like growing up, I grew up in Jersey, and the Nets were in Jersey when I was growing up. Like growing up and going to a Nets game and having like Chris Morris like wave at me would have been like, and so like it's the same old game, and like that's the cool part. We live in such an open world, like.
Sure.
Like that we can have, like it's great, like one follow, one DM, it's cool.
Yeah.
It's an amazing time to be alive.
Yeah, you know what's crazy actually
Please.
about how, like when I DM'd you, it was actually a bet like from one of my friends.
What?
He's like, my friend, he's like a big fan of yours, and like your name just came up in conversation one day, and like we were sitting on the couch watching TV, and he was like, dude, just go DM him, and like I bet you $100 he's gonna respond. And I'm like, dude, Garyvee's not, like, he probably gets 1,000 of these every day. Like, there's no way he's going to read this. And so we like made the bet and we were like, let's set a deadline on like when he's going to reply by. So he was like 3 days. He's going to reply in 3 days. So like 3 days goes by and like you didn't, I like looked, it didn't even say like open scene or anything. So I'm like, bro, there's no way. Like he has way too many of these messages coming in, but he's not going to see it. And he's like, bro, just give it a little faith. Like he's going to reply at some point. I gave up on it. Then like 2 weeks later, you hit me up and you were like, yo, thanks for the message. Like really appreciate your support. And then you hooked me up with Tyler right away. I was like, dude, it's crazy. Like one DM, like I just like took a shot out of nowhere and.
So it's what I want everybody to do. Like you can get to people.
Yeah.
You know, like you can get to people. Not everybody. Some like I like people and want to meet people and like that's my personality. And guess what? There's other athletes and actresses and models and skateboarders and rappers that are like that too.
Yeah.
The end.
Yeah.
It's not about a status, you know?
Yeah.
It's about a mindset.
For sure.
Back to that point, you know? So how do you think about your career and like life and like how, you know, it's, what's crazy about athletes as I've gotten to know them is you guys are so young when you're done.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So like that's kind of one of the things like when I came in here, like a couple questions that I had, like maybe that I just want to get like your take on. So like I've listened to videos for you where you just like, I love eating dirt. Like I love like being on like the grind and like whatever. And like that's cool. Like I love the grind too. Like for me, honestly, one of the best parts of my job is not even like necessarily playing the games during the season, but like when the off season comes around and I have like a 5 to 6 month period where I can just like evaluate what do I need to work on, and I just like I'm in the gym all day every day just like working on what I need to work on.
How narrow or deep, how wide or deep do you go on what you work on in an off season? Do you pick a singular thing and go crazy?
I mean,
because you're playing at the highest level.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you may just want to work on this one left-handed thing.
Well, that's the thing. Like I guess there's a lot of different areas I work on. Like, so like this in the summer, like I kind of break it up into 3 different like areas. So like I start my day like on the court where I'll do like an hour and a half to 2 hours on the court. And like in 2 hours, you can hit a lot of different, like working on a lot of different skills, like moves, finishes, shots, whatever, dribbling, whatnot. And then I really started getting into Pilates this summer. Flexibility, like core strength, all that kind of stuff. And then there's weight training, like, you know, whether that's upper body, whether that's like gaining explosiveness, like, so there's a lot of different areas that I kind of divided up into, but those are 3 areas that I'm hitting every day. But what you, like when you kind of said this is like, we're so like when we're so young when we finish, one of the questions I had for you is like, I love the grind and whatever, but like, how do you learn to be patient when like our careers are so short? You know what I mean? Because it's like,
well, so let's talk about that.
So yeah, so like that's the thing.
I think about the grind for entrepreneurs where the career is not short.
Yeah.
So are you asking about being patient within a basketball framework?
Yeah, so like.
Or are you asking it in a life and totalitarian standpoint, right?
I mean, I guess more just the fact that like, so.
Or do you think of it as like, I have leverage while I'm a player, what do I do with it?
I think my question is more like, how do I get the mindset of like, so like over my 4 years in the NBA, like I've grinded and grinded. I've been like eating dirt. And although it hasn't been all bad, like there's been some success here and there, it hasn't been the type of success that I want it to be. So, but at the same time for me, like over 4 years, I look at it and I'm like, the average career in the league is only 4 years. Like people don't understand that most guys only last 4 years and that's it. So
most guys, yeah, I mean that's the average.
That's the average.
A lot of guys
are like 1 or 2 years and they're done. So like for me, I've made it to the average so far, but like I have dreams of playing 10, 15 years as long as I can play. But even with that, I'm like, if I last 15 years, I'm already 25% done. Like I don't have that much time.
Yeah,
so
I don't think my patience game works out in something like sports.
Yeah.
I think it's different.
Yeah.
Like I would be, first of all, my whole thing is macro patience and micro speed. So macro patience, I still, even in an athlete standpoint, probably can buy into my patience, but I would make it life, not basketball.
Yeah.
But like if I wanted to be a great basketball player and I was 4 years into my career and it hadn't happened yet, I would probably spend every single minute on my game.
Yeah.
Like I mean everyone. Like you might want to leave right now.
Like,
brother. I'm being really frank with you. Like if you're actually asking me, I would probably study film and work out every single moment of the next 24 months of your life.
See, like that,
no sitting on the couch with your buddy DMing me.
Yeah.
Zero.
That's
Zero, by the way.
Zero?
I did it.
Yeah.
From 21 to 30, my life was zero. Like straight up zero. Like you have to understand.
Yeah.
I lived in New Jersey and never came to New York City to go out on Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Really?
And when I say ever.
Never. 0 times. That's crazy.
So like that's what's real though. Like people don't understand greatness is about obsession.
Yeah.
Like otherwise wouldn't everybody be fucking great?
Yeah.
Like so if you're year 4 and you're like, fuck man, I really don't want to regret this and like I'd like the course of my career to change. I follow the sport enough to know.
Yeah.
Then dude, you actually have to go 100%.
Yeah.
Like no friends, no girls, basketball.
Damn.
That's the truth.
Yeah, it's the truth. It's the truth.
That's the truth. That's actually eating dirt. When I talk about eating dirt, people are like, oh yeah, I eat dirt. I work hard. That's working hard.
Yeah.
Eat dirt.
Yeah. Damn.
That's what it is, man.
So I know that's.
And you know what's kind of cool is like you're in a in my opinion, you're in a sweet spot to try it. My big thing for you right now is kind of like, fuck it, try it. Do it for 18 months, just see what happens.
So
what's really crazy about your game though, it fucks me up, is you could do like you could do it, like everything could be perfect and you can get hurt.
Yeah.
That just fucks with me so much.
And you see it in the NBA this year, like even Kristaps Porzingis the other day just torn ACL, like 12 months he's gonna be out. And it's just like the harsh reality of the game. But
it's a harsh game. But look, I mean, like anything in life, being a professional athlete in America is that's pretty up there, bro.
Oh, I
mean, of course.
I mean, it was my dream since I was a kid, so I can't complain. But like, I guess another question I have is like, how do you think how should I go about evaluating what I need to change in terms of my routine? Because to be honest, like it's to the point like I've ate dirt to the point where like they've banned me from coming back to the gym at night. Like I just came here from practice and like oftentimes I'll go back home, like I'll take a nap or whatever it is, and then I'll go back at night. And it's gotten to the point where they're like, dude, you can't keep coming back. Like it's not good for your body. Like you need at a certain point for athletes, you do need rest.
So here's what I would do. I would go look at as many people as possible that have mapped a similar career to you and actually accelerated their career in year 5 or 6. Like literally, like have somebody, one of your college buddies, like somebody that, like a fan, figure the fuck out who the 29 guys who had the most similar path to you in the last 10 years and actually talk to every one of them. DM them.
Yeah.
Call them, like they're in a fraternity.
Yeah.
I would definitely do that. And I definitely think you need I think you should really consider hiring somebody.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know sport well enough to know like who those basketball coaches are and how they roll and like what that is. But that's potentially what it is. You know?
Yeah. I guess like it's like one of the most frustrating parts for me is because like when I've been on this journey, especially over the 4 years, like I haven't seen the success that I wanted to see. But everyone keeps like every coach that I've been coached. I've played for 3 different teams, and every coach and every like teammate I have, like everyone's like, you're gonna be okay. Like you're on the right path. Like trust me, like your hard work's gonna pay off. But like after 4 years of it, like there's certain parts of your mind where you're like, are these people just like telling me what I want to hear?
Here's what's up. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like what's the alternative?
Yeah, it's true. There is no alternative.
Right? Like see how simple that is actually? Yeah. It doesn't matter if you're like getting gassed up.
You have the 10 minutes with Phil just before we do the
Toronto?
podcast. Yeah,
okay. Doesn't matter if dudes are gassing you up.
Yeah.
What's the alternative?
I'm not quitting, so yeah.
So that's it. It's binary.
Yeah.
There's one middle ground, which is you mail it in, right?
Yeah.
And then the league will tell you that it's time to quit.
Yeah.
So you're quitting anyway, right?
Exactly.
So I just think things are about the alternative, man. Like people ask me shit all the time. I'm like, I just get real basic real fast. I'm like, and? Like, right?
Yeah.
Like my answer to everything is and. And what, are you gonna be mad at people that were kind to you? And just want, me, that's not like they tricked you. Like, you know the score. Like the big thing for athletes is sometimes you need that moment, that break, that moment, right? Yeah. Those 2 guys get hurt in the same game and drop 17 in 7 minutes, and that's just real life. That's sports.
Yeah, that's the reality. Like there's obviously a lot of superstars in every sport, But it's crazy, like, especially in basketball. A lot of the guys like get their first opportunities off of like players getting hurt. Like players in front of them get hurt, and they just step into a role. Like people don't realize like Draymond Green on the Warriors. Like that's kind of what happened to him. Like
I'm
David
aware.
David Lee got hurt.
That's exactly what happened.
He steps in, all of a sudden Draymond Green becomes Draymond Green. But like most
Just
people
needed
don't
the
even
at-bat.
realize that. Yeah, it's
That's
crazy.
right. It happens all the time, man.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And that's it. Like all you can do is, like people always ask me, when are you gonna buy the Jets? I'm like what if the Woody Johnson doesn't want to sell it to you? I'm like, I can't control that part.
Yeah.
It just becomes a laser focus on focusing on what you can control.
Yeah.
You can't control the guy in front of you getting traded or hurt or falling in love and falling off. Like there's a million things in life. All you can do is do the exact same shit that got you here.
Yeah.
You know?
Sure.
I would really like consider like reaching out to a couple dudes that lived your life.
Yeah.
And they're out there.
Yeah, I've had the pleasure actually, like, so this year when I started in Philly, I started the year in Philly, and we signed JJ Redick. And do you know who JJ Redick?
Very well.
So, and JJ was the guy that was like very similar to me. Like his first like 5 years maybe in the league, like, I mean,
yeah,
he was okay. He was like decent, but like
not what he became.
Not what he is now, and not how he was performing at Duke. Like in college, like it was just like a drop off, and like it took him like 5 years.
And what was he saying?
And like for me, he was like, dude, trust me. Like I've been in this league now for 10 years. Like I can tell, like you're gonna be fine. Like he's another guy that's
honestly,
he's like, you're gonna be fine. Like you're on the right path.
Honestly, that's a big one because, you know, I also know enough to know that like he's from what I know about him, and I know a lot of people know him pretty well. Like he's not in the business of saying that to you.
Yeah.
He's a nice dude.
Yeah.
I don't think he would say like, but he doesn't know. Mm-hmm. And like, so it goes both ways.
Yeah.
That's my whole thing with like love and hate. Like, both are guessing.
Yeah. It's true.
You can't even like. Some of the best players of all time just sat the bench for the last 8 years and never happened.
Yeah.
It just that could be real.
Yeah.
But what you need to do is make sure that if you get the right things, the right coach, the right team, the right moment, or the right opportunity, that you're in that spot. Because that's the part that will bother you. Like if you got caught up in the vortex of the machine and just the wrong teams at the wrong times with the right people ahead of you, you'll always be like, okay, like, you know, as you get older, you're like, fuck, man, I did get to play in the league, which is bonkers, but yeah, fuck, right? Yeah. But if you get the shot and you get to play the last 19 games in the year and you play like shit because you didn't go there, that one will hurt.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like in my especially when I've gotten traded here to Brooklyn, and it's been tough. Like we have a lot of guards on our team, but like the opportunities that I have gotten, like I've played well a lot of those games. But then like
here's the good news: the league's watching.
Oh, I know the league's watching, but then it's like it's tough because like guys come back from injury, and then I kind of like I step back to that. So like it's more of like a patience thing.
But you know the way I look at that straight up is like, look, there's two things that happen there. Things I can't control, guys came back, coach decided, and things I could control. I could have, you know, and I don't know in enough detail, but I know you played well. Like, I don't know, you know what's funny? I just take blame for everything in a good way.
Yeah.
Like, I hear that and I if I had the luxury of playing, I'd be like, well, I could have dropped 35 in a quarter.
That's the same attitude I take.
That's good.
All my friends are like, oh, you played so well today. I'm like, well, clearly I didn't do enough because.
I wouldn't dwell though.
I know. I mean, I try not to dwell on it, but like
it's just
that's
like
always
you
my
control
mindset.
what you control, and you know.
Yeah.
And by the way, like sports is tricky. Like in a microcosm, anybody can play well or not well.
Yeah, for sure.
You just got to keep the hardest part is keeping your mental game up. Mm-hmm. That's it.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing for you or like all the kids that are fucking in debt right now, right? Like what's the tough part? Being in debt, still working, not getting a raise, getting past. It's happening in we could walk the floor right now. Same thing they're thinking about. Like, why didn't I get that raise? Why didn't I get promoted at Vayner? I got this debt. Like, fuck it, I'll go to this other. Like, it's the game for everybody.
Yeah.
Just different circumstances.